Hi there. Well, sorry for the noise. So it's a main street here. It's not really a main street, I'd say it's a lot of traffic here. So it's an industrial area. But there's a reason why I'm here, so I'm telling you. I'll just tell you what I smoked first. Smoking some Cornell Diehl Star of the East. I'm going to show you that. I hope you can see that beautiful tin art. So, it's the flake version. So it's the Star of the East flake. Show you the tobacco. And, well, if you open these GLPs, all these Cornell Diehl tobaccos, it's always a pleasure, I think, from moment one, because, well, there's something to it, how they pack the tobacco, how they do things. So you see, there's a little paper on top here, very nice. And then if you open them, I'll show you that, you can see that. So two papers, and then just here is the tobacco. And I don't know, can you see that? Pretty nice. So some kind of broken flake. It's a flake, but it's not that kind of flake that we sometimes know, a very hard rust flake. So it's a little bit broken. It is soft. When you touch it, feels good. Humidity feels all right. So it's not moisty and it's not dry. So it's something we should expect from good tobacco. So at the moment you open that, you know it is a heavy Latakia tobacco. So there's a lot of Latakia in it. So they say there's 50% of Cyprian Latakia, 50%. I'm not sure that it is. I'll tell you why. So, but they say 50% of Cyprian Latakia, and there's Izmir, Turkish Oriental leaf, and is Stove, Virginia. Stove, Virginia. And this mixture really combines pretty nice. So, to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Latakia. I'm not a Latakia lover. So, but in this case, I like the smooth notes, I like the how they do it, so the tobacco gives you some kind of sweetness, gives you, for me, so the tongue note, let's say that, is a little bit bacon-like, I think. I don't know why, but it's just how I feel it, a little bit bacon-like. And combined with a campfire, so that's a pretty good combination, I think. So it's well done tobacco. So, as I said, although I'm not a huge fan of heavy Latakias, so I'm not pretty sure that they really put 50% of Cyprian Latakia in that. So because many of these tobaccos with a lot of Latakia, let's say more than 30 or 40%, they like to kill the other tobaccos. But in this case, the Izmir leaf and the Virginia is still present. So you can still taste that. So I'm not sure that is really 50% of Cyprian Latakia. And the Cyprian Latakia, we all know that, is much harder than the Syrian Latakia. So, but as far as I know, Cornell Diehl, they just use the Cyprian Latakia. I don't think they have a version of tobaccos with Syrian Latakia. McClellan does. And in Europe, several producers, they use the Syrian Latakia. So, but anyway, it's really fine, a fine Latakia tobacco. So, I'm here in Hanover, Garbsen, that's a part of Hanover. And you see this heavy steam engine right behind me. Well, this locomotive this is a P8, a Prussian 8. So you see on the front of the locomotive, of the steam engine, the number, it is an 038. So that's the classification for Prussian 8, for P8. So this locomotive, so that was really one of the, I don't know, one of the most famous steam engines in Germany ever built. So I think production was between 1906 and 1930, but they were decommissioned in 1974, I think. And this actual locomotive, this steam engine, that was really decommissioned in 1974. And this was one of the last iron horses they just put off duty. One of the very last. And I show you, I think I have a picture with me, how they get it here. How did they do it? Show you that. I don't know, can you see that? They drove that right through the landscape. Yeah. Damn, there's a lot of traffic here. Well, that's pipe presenter's curse, so maybe for hours nobody may have been here, but now that I put up the camera, you know how that works. Anyway, my grandfather, so he was an engine driver on this very model. Trucks and trucks, okay? So, he used to drive that, I think, from the beginning of the 20s or on the mid-20s up to the mid-60s perhaps. He was the engine driver on such a heavy engine. So this is 75 tons, and the highest speed is 100 kilometers per hour. 1,500 horsepower or whatever, so or a little bit more, I think. So it was very common, this model. 4,000 of these were built between 1906 and 1930. So, and they did everything with this engine. So, transportation of cargo, passengers, livestock, everything. So. So this nice iron horse, we found his last place of shelter, let's say that. So here near a furniture shop. So I think the owner of the shop was just excited about steam engines and railroad and so on. I think that was the reason. Chuchen, that good Becky, the Star of the East, in my rat race motor pipe. I'm going to show you that. So Mike, you once asked me, can you show your mortar pipe? Yeah, I can. So I hope you can see that. So that's a rat race mortar pipe. What will a custom built stem? So they did it, I think, with a pretty bad stem. So that's the reason why I changed that. Yeah, just got a making that for me. So now it's pretty good. Yeah, perhaps one day I'm going to talk a little bit more about these rat race mortar pipes. So it's an interesting topic. So I think, as far as I know, it's the only industrial-made mortar pipe, as far as I know. So the reason is they found a really huge oak, really huge, when they worked on the river, so in the south of Germany, I think at the Donau, and they found really a 10,000-year-old oak. That was a lot of wood, and so they were able to do that in industrial form. So it was pretty difficult for them to do it with machines, because the material is quite different to briar and so on. Perhaps we're going to talk about that another day. So, but it's a nice pipe. I just didn't like the stem. It was very short, not reliable quality. I don't know, the quality was substandard, I think, for a pipe around 200 euros. Yeah, the Choo-choo here on the right in the cockpit of the old steam engine, the choo-choo train. The choo-choo train. So yeah, my grandfather, he used to ride that. Yeah, back in the days, in the 30s, 40s, 50s. So and even during the war. Now these were horrible times, guys. So yeah. So my grandfather, so he was the engine driver, and yeah, he drove that on the Eastern Front. He got kept, and yeah, he spent 8 years in war prison. 8 years in war prison. So he came back in the 50s. And then, so my grandmother, so you have to imagine that. So my grandmother, she got, she got informed 3 times that my grandfather is dead, buried in the presence of witnesses. So bad enough. But even worse, after that, the railroad cut the money. So before that, my grandfather was just missed. And then they said, well, he's dead, so we don't give any payment anymore. So he's not on the payroll anymore. So my grandmother, so she was alone with my father, so with a child. And then without any money, so during the war, so that was really bad. So, and then in the 50s, my grandfather suddenly, without any notice, so he appeared. So he was just there, just came back, and yeah, and then he went to the railroad and said, you know, I'm back. So they said, I know you're dead. What do you want? You're dead. So, and he said, well, obviously I'm not. And they said, well, for us, so paper has it, you're dead. So it was quite difficult for him to get in the job again. And yeah, I don't know. They tried to give him less money, and it was a bad story. Well, anyway. Well, these were old times. After the war. Chaos. So, yeah. But anyway, my grandfather then continued being an engine driver on this machine. And continued that, yeah, up to the middle of the 60s. Yeah. That's the story. So the story of the railroad family. So my father, he was with the railroad. He's a railroad engineer. My grandfather, my great-grandfather, he also was with the railroad. So all the men in my family, they've been with the railroad, except me. So black sheep of the family. You better stay with the railroad. Oh. Things have changed. So in the old days, railroad, that was reliable. So I don't know, by all means. So there was a saying here. It said reliable as a railroad, but they don't say it anymore. So today it's private company. So it's all about profit. So that means yeah, you can wait for the train. You can wait. So anyway, yeah, that's a nice engine here. Pretty heavy engine. So guys, okay, that's it here from the old P8 with a Star of the East. Some good Latakia tobacco. I think you won't regret if you give it a shot. So if it is for me, so as a non-really Latakia lover, so as a guy who smokes Latakia but doesn't prefer to have heavy Latakias, but for me it's really, and it really burns the white ashes up to the ground, doesn't change the taste. That's pretty good. Yeah guys, hope you all are well. Hope you have something good to chew on. Latakia or not, whatever you prefer. So I hope you are well, and take care, and perhaps see you. So, in any case, any words, like my friend Bert would like to say.